15 years after the Tony Award-winning Broadway run of Spring Awakening, the original cast and creative team reunited for a one-night-only reunion concert to benefit the Actors Fund. There is a new HBO documentary called Spring Awakening, Those You've Known, and it chronicles the cast and crew as they return to stage and reconnect.
We're gonna sneak into the theater and have a sleepover.
I can't express to you how illegal and unheard of it is to sleep over at a theater. There was gonna be no light. We brought candles, we brought alcohol, we brought food.
At the end of the night, there's a doorman that checks every dressing room to make sure that they're empty.
We had to hide under the desk for about 2 hours. We all peed our pants. We got so scared. And then we heard the front door and the power went.
Nice to see the two of you together.
Nice to see you.
I don't know if I ever told you this, but 2006 brought my daughter to see your show several times. We loved it so much. So, Jonathan, I know you're the executive producer on this documentary. Tell me why you wanted to do this.
Okay, you're such a good mom.
I thought it was a good talking, like whatever you brought up was great that we could talk about afterwards. You kind of made it parenting a little bit easier for me.
That is so great. And that is kind of the perfect answer to one of the reasons why we would make this documentary about Spring Awakening, because the show itself is about issues and things that they don't teach you in school. And it deals with abortion and suicide and depression and sexuality. And there's so many things for young people to express themselves in the show or to talk about after seeing the show. And so the real reason that we did the whole concert was to raise money for the Actors Fund, which took care of our community during the pandemic in a major way. $24 million, as we just spoke about a moment ago.
Wow.
And then we did a documentary to capture the moment. And I think we were all surprised at how the documentary ended up not only just telling the story of our amazing reunion and coming back together, but it tells the story of this amazing work of art that changed the face of Broadway.
So true. Lea, what was it like for you to revisit this 15 years later?
Oh my gosh, it was incredible. I had a baby a year and a half ago, and so this was my first time getting back on the stage and performing. It was exhilarating and truly such a joy to have the opportunity to play this role 15 years later.
So, Jonathan, you were like emotional mess during this documentary. I mean, is that wrong for me to say?
Putting it nicely, yeah.
Yeah. It was so emotional.
Lea made you cry.
So much.
And we watched it together. He was a mess sitting next to me, like hands in his face, crying.
The interesting thing about it, which I didn't know, I mean, obviously you played lovers in the Broadway show. I didn't realize you were romantically involved as well.
Oh, no, we weren't.
Aren't?
I love that it comes across that way, though.
Wait, you were not?
No.
We were in love. That's part of what I love, too, about how they tell our story in the documentary, how they cut it all together and put it together. We have this loving relationship that is so unique and so specific, unlike any relationship I've ever had in my life.
Same.
And we had to do all this intense stuff on stage. Right. And we were so young, and it bonded us in a way that is so unparalleled. And we love each other, but we were not romantically involved other than the roles in the show.
I saw an interview where you said you at that point had not come out and talked about your sexuality. So
that was a big thing. I like Spring Awakening offers the opportunity as a show for, I've seen it in community theaters, I've seen it in colleges, offers this opportunity for young people to really express themselves. And for me doing that show, I was in the closet, and it really literally gave me a microphone to be able to sing about just sexuality and about feelings. And even though, Lea and I were having this very extreme physical, like, sex scene that we had to do on stage. And it was a beautiful way to learn about myself and to express myself.
You know, you guys got in a lot of trouble, you know, when you weren't on stage, right? I mean, you did a few things like wearing your costumes outside of the theater, which I didn't realize is taboo.
It's, you know, yeah.
So illegal.
Yeah, we would, during this one part of the show when we were not on stage, we decided to, like, we would walk around the block sometimes in our costume.
We would give candy to people sitting out on the street waiting for tickets.
Right.
We would come out in our costumes and give them, like, Tootsie Rolls.
I do think that, you know, maybe, you know, we were unconsciously needing a kind of to just step out of the world for a second and just literally breathe in some fresh air, because it was really incredible every night to play these roles that did get to express themselves and did really get to, you know, physically pull out microphones and sing and, you know, make love the way that we did every night. But also it was a lot emotionally.
I know this was a one night only that you taped. Would you ever consider bringing the show back to Broadway?
Well, not with us.
I think we're a little old
We're
at
a
this
little
point.
old.
Yeah, the characters are 15.
But you know, the point of this documentary is to show everyone that unfortunately these themes and this, you know, the subject matter that's in this film, it's still happening today. These are subjects and conversations that still need to be had. As Jonathan, I think, said earlier, you don't learn about this stuff in school. So I think that any revival or film or any retelling of this tale is so important. Like you said, it helped you have conversations with your daughter that you maybe didn't feel like you could just spring up on your own. So I think any version of Spring Awakening that could be available, you know, is wonderful and so important.
Now, I know Jonathan's been back to Broadway, but you, Lea, what is going on? We need you back on Broadway.
I'm really ready. I think as a mom, I feel like I had a lot of mom guilt for a while, sort of unexpected, and just, you know, being so nervous to leave my son and not be with him every minute of every day. But I would love to be back performing again. I really feel like I'm ready.
And Jonathan, we always love seeing you on Broadway too. I mean, come on.
It's my favorite thing. It's my favorite thing.
And he's terrific, and so is she. Spring Awakening, Those You've Known, premieres on HBO on May 3rd.